months. Thank you so much for joining in, Mr. Bohra. The clear, general outlook, if I could start with a fairly broad-based question, has been that things are improving, and that's been even visible in the overall numbers. In terms of demand momentum, how have the last 2 to 3 months been for the company? And if you could break it down as to which segments are seeing the strongest growth.
Right. So, good morning, everyone. As you rightly mentioned, the sector had been facing some headwinds in last few years, maybe last 3 to 4 years, starting with the lot of safety-related changes, increases, or the BS6 transition, or the COVID, etc. But as of now, for last few months, we are definitely sensing some improvement in volumes month on month in both the sectors, be it the passenger vehicle sector or the two-wheeler sector. Two-wheeler sector definitely had been facing a lot of headwinds in Q3 and Q4 of last fiscal. But as we speak, if you see last 2 3 months, and the volumes are anyway available in the market for May to June and now June to July, we are definitely seeing some improvement in the volumes in two-wheeler as well. PV, as we all know, has been the segment where the demand has been very, very robust, but the supplies have been constrained because of one reason or another, and primarily the semiconductor issue. And things have been sort of improving on a daily basis, I would say. And that's what is sort of creating that demand for people like us, where the volumes are improving. So in both the segments, be it two-wheeler or the passenger vehicle, we are definitely seeing an uptick in volumes on a month-on-month basis.
So, will this be a new cycle where first companies will start building inventory, then they will start getting demand back, or right now these are just initial phases?
Nikunj, is very difficult to say about whether people are building inventory, but the fact remains that the inventory levels for at least PV had been very low compared to what the long-term averages are. So definitely some of those productions definitely will go into building inventory, but we all know that for some of the models, the waiting period had been almost like 6 to 8 months. So I would presume initially the supplies should go in meeting the end customer demand, because first thing what you do is you tend to normally reduce the waiting period so that the supply chain entire gets streamlined. You would never like to keep build inventory and sort of have customer waiting for the delivery. So initially, while for majority of the models where there is a wait period, it should go in meeting the demand. And then later on, gradually, yes, we might see some buildup in inventory and go to some normal levels.
There is a lot of change which is happening within the passenger car market. SUVs are doing much better. Entry level cars are falling off the radar. Indian customer is now tilted towards EV. So, how does your uh, business or your revenue projection change? Because trends are so fast now that every auto ancillary supplier will have to change on their product profile.
Right. So, Nikunj, I think this is the very big important point which you have raised. So, as a country, we have seen a transition from a A segment car to a B segment car, where the volumes for Swift, etc., are growing more than. I'm taking names because of just A and B segment, be it the lower end cars. So that transition, and also people are preferring from a low platform car to a high platform car, which we call the SUVs or the five-seater SUVs like that, right? So when we see this transition from a A segment car or a B to B or B to a C segment car, for people like us, it's actually a great thing, because even though industry volumes remain same for a moment, our kit value, which goes into A segment versus a B segment, so B definitely is higher than A and so on. So any transition from a low-end car to a mid-end or a premium transition, that abodes well for people like us. And from a manufacturing perspective, there is not a big shift. So if I may take you example, for a switching system, a B segment volume, if I have to increase, it's not a problem. I already have an entire setup. So it's addition of more features, more kit value, etc. Same way, for example, for a wheel or a light, the wheel might get little heavier or a light will get little bigger. So from people like us, for our perspective, mostly you won't see any significant challenge whenever you have shift from A segment to a B segment or a low platform to a high platform car, in fact, it's a great news for us.
It's a great news because it'll aid your margins. It'll lead to premiumizations because, as Nikunj was pointing out, the entry level car, the consumer insight is now they're preferring bigger cars, whether it's compact SUVs. You've seen a new SUV also being launched, and in the two-wheeler segment, demand seems to be coming down. So, is all of this is what you mean is good news for you people because it means premiumization?
So from Nantara, from a two-wheeler perspective, is a little different from a four-wheeler perspective because four-wheeler still EV is little far off. Any transition, premiumization, increase in kit value, steel wheel to alloy wheel or a halogen lamp to LED lamp, they're all about well for us because increase the kit value. From a two-wheeler perspective or a three-wheeler perspective, we all know that the world or the India market also is gradually transitioning to EV. While today volumes are very low, but as we move forward, we do expect volumes to grow significantly. And as we have touched base in past, if you see our product profile, they are agnostic to either EV or a IC engine. For all our existing products, mostly which are part of the group consolidated financials, no product faces any headwind or any risk for transition from IC to a EV, barring maybe some small casting products. However, from an EV perspective, as you know, we have spoken on a channel, I think a few months back, that we are actually working on increasing our kit value significantly for a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler perspective. For a two-wheeler, our kit value for IC engine has been something around 7,500 rupees, which goes to almost 9,500 for a EV. On top of it, we have built a very big product profile for a EV perspective, which is, I would say, unparalleled in the industry. So our kit value already is almost like 25 to 30,000 rupees, which is under production. And we are working to take this kit value to almost 50,000 rupees. So if you see, it's a 6 to 7-fold jump in our kit value. So any transition from IC to EV, for us, it's a great news because that's where we are putting more energy and increasing our kit value.
Okay, so we're going to leave it at that. Minda Industries has been in focus of late because of the action you've been seeing